Alright, today we're going to go through on how to change out the engine mount on a 2003 Mitsubishi Lancer. I have another video on YouTube on how to diagnose the problem, but they're obviously bad in this car, and we're going to go through how to swap them out. First step is I popped off the skid plate. Had these little clips on there. Just use a flathead screwdriver. I broke a couple of them, so I used zip ties to put it back up. Then you can get at the actual mount itself. You can be able to see in there that it's already cracked, but there's size 14. I got a ratchet on one side and a wrench on the other to break them free. If it's too hard to turn, you may need to use a breaker bar. These are on the engine mount, so they're going to have to be torqued down pretty good. That took a little bit of force, but I was able to get it off with these smaller ratchets, so you should be able to do it without too much difficulty. Alright, I got it off. The hose for the radiator is kind of in the way, but I think I'll be able to force it out and pull this thing out. May require a two-hander. If you can see. Push. And one concern I have with this vehicle is that I'm in a slight wreck. Not real bad, but I'm concerned that there might be some more extra tension on this. Maybe towards the end, a beat to fit, paint to match type thing to get this back in. So you can see that top screw for the engine mount. You can get at it from the top side with some extensions. You could either use, as I said, the 9/16 or the 14mm. They're pretty much interchangeable, but that's the size. I'm going to pull that out with that. Alright, so I used a breaker bar attached to the all those extensions. Was able to snap it free without too much difficulty. However, because I'm trying to also operate a camera while I do this, I snagged my finger on that little guy. Safety point, you should be wearing some sort of mechanic type glove while doing this sort of stuff so you don't bust your knuckles. Alright, got my gloves on. Switched it to the smaller ratchet, and I'll be able to unscrew that with very minimal difficulties now. Alright, that's the engine mount. This back one, there's almost no room to get the actual bolt itself down here. So I'm going to have to pull off this crossmember, which is only held up by these two bolts right here and one back there. These two ones up front are 17mm. I'm kind of assuming the one in the back is the same size. I'm going to use a breaker bar to get that off, and then the engine mount will come out with it. All right. There it is. I was tightening it. Oh man. But get the 2-foot breaker bar. This ain't too hard to do. Get the other one. And then I'll ratchet them off. And lastly, down here, also 17mm. There you go. All right, pulled it out. Said those were 17 millimeters. This is the old part, front engine mount. You can see it's quite corroded, and also cracked. And you actually can see that on this, but it's cracked. You can push and see. This is a new part. Putting it on. I got that bar all cleaned up and new part installed. Well, not installed yet, but the rubber was oriented toward the engine. Make sure you put it back the same way, because that's so it can absorb the torque properly. But it'll fit either way, so put it back on correctly. I soak them down with some grease so they're going easy. And jam up next time. Alright, it's time for reassembly for this front one. Said I got it down extra tight. I'm going to start the bolts so there's wiggle room on this before I put the bolt back through. So when the engine mount bolt goes in place, I said, so there's some wiggle room on the engine itself and this, and I don't need to do too much. So there's some wiggle room on this, and there's not, not too much prying to get it back in place. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, so I actually threaded the bolt the other way, so I didn't have to try to pry it by that radiator hose again, but that shouldn't matter in any sort of way. I got these reattached. Remember, they were 17s. They're not all the way torqued down, so I'd have a little bit more wiggle room with both the crossmember and the engine itself. It just took a little bit of prying in this crack with a crowbar to get it into place. I sprayed on the inside of this with some lube so it would slide in there with no problem, because it was a little bit jammed up. And just a matter of tightening it up now. As you can see, that's completely swapped out. Front one, the bar is back in place. It's all torqued down very tight. And I'm gonna go to the back bar now. No, the back engine mount now. Right now, I'm replacing the back motor mount. It's up in here. I'm making a video, but it's up in here. And I have made about, I don't know, very little headway coming at it from the bottom. I broke 3 of them loose, and there's not much room to get your hands in there without pulling off a lot of stuff. So I bought a whole bunch of extensions, because you can see them from the top, and that's what I'm going at them with. And I just broke one free. I think we'll be moving here pretty quickly now. This is where I inserted the extra long set of extensions for the back left nut. That's the set of extensions I used to finally get at those nuts. This is the engine mount right here. I don't know if you can actually see that. It's starting to get kind of dark, but it's loose, but I can't get it out, so I gotta take off to where it attaches to the motor. Alright, old one's out. You can see it's broken right off. That was causing the significant engine movement when you changed gears. This is the new one. It started raining outside, so I was able to videotape it. Lost my audio video, no big deal. But it took a series of extensions and L joints and all that annoying stuff. But it's out. Also had to detach the bracket that holds the engine mount to the engine. Slightly in order to get it to slide left and right and get enough space to pull it out of there. But I'm about to reinstall.